When you think of self-care, what comes to mind? Is it something like a massage or a glass of wine and a bubble bath or something along the lines of pampering? It's something that a lot of us think of as, a little bit of pampering on one day with no real wider effect to our lives. And the way I think of it is that that's sort of like the fast food version of self-care. That it's sort of a temporary, momentary dose of feel-good without any real change to your life. And there's nothing wrong with those things, nothing at all. But I don't think that that's the extent of what self-care really is. Because if you think of it, what does it mean to really care for the self? To take care of yourself? Is it, if you think of it in terms of food, is it eating garbage all week but then having, a nice meal on Sunday or something? That's not really taking care of yourself physically. And I think the same thing goes for your mental and emotional health. Is it treating yourself like garbage every day of the week except for Sunday when you actually treat yourself well? No, that's not really what self-care is about. And I think the distillation of that perspective is that life is normally miserable. That life is supposed to be sort of this unhappy thing that you have to just sort of trudge through to get through the week. You just have to go and sort of get through this unhappy grind. And then, on the weekend, you can sort of pamper yourself to make yourself feel better. And that's what self-care is. And that's really a very unhealthy way to go about what self-care means. I think a better way of looking at it is actually changing the things in your life that make you unhappy. That what you need to do instead is rather think of the things that are causing you your misery, that are things that are causing you unhappiness or displeasure, and see how you can turn it into a positive. Like if, instead of spending time with those friends that don't treat you well, instead take the time to go out and do something social with new people. Go to a new meetup to try and meet new people who do treat you well. It's turning something that might be a source of negativity, that, these people that I spend time with always stress me out and treat me poorly and just make me feel bad. Instead of just going and getting massage to feel better every week, try and change that source of unhappiness to something positive, to something that does fuel you, that makes you want to go through your week, so that you don't have to feel like you need to numb your pain at the end of the week with a bottle of wine and a massage or whatever it is that you do to pamper yourself. Rather, so instead of it being about relief from your suffering of the week, try and remove the suffering to begin with. This can be very difficult, of course. If you're at an unhappy job, it can be some time before you can fix that. But there are all sorts of things that you can do throughout your day to really take control of that, to care for yourself. Maybe when you're done working, you can go home and find something really meaningful every day that you can do, like a hobby that's really meaningful. I have a friend who really does not like her job at all. It's a real source of heavy stress for her. But when she comes home, she works on her, a hobby of hers where she crafts things, little handmade journals and stuff like that. But when she comes home, she does that hobby, and she now is actually created it into a whole business. So when she gets home from work, that doesn't fuel her, that doesn't make her feel accomplished, she can start working on her own business, which makes her feel incredibly accomplished. And eventually, she's hoping to make that her primary job. So there's all these little ways that you can pursue things that do fuel you, that do make you feel satisfied with your week. So that way you don't feel like you need to rush off to relieve all the pain and the stress and the unhappiness that builds up throughout your week. I think that's a much healthier way of looking at self-care, not as a moment of relief, but as a way of changing your life into holistically a happy one. It's a way of shaping your life slowly into something that you don't need relief from anymore because you're happy with it. You're happy where your life is at.